Is Pooja Jinkere? Pooja?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you can mute. Is Pooja Jinkere? Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. 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 Sir. Okay. 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 Sir. Okay. 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 So, सर बोलो ना. सर वही अनंत सर को फोन किए थे सर।
हाँ नहीं, उसका मैसेज आया मुझे।
ओके 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 सर।
I will call him now.
ओके 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 सर ओके।
Next, sir.
यस मैडम। हाँ यस मैडम।
Have you identified anyone?
Yes, madam. Like one of the student from IT, like Raj Baya. Is there Raj Baya?
Rajvaya, okay. But I thought he was okay, no problem. Okay, go ahead with Raj.
Raj, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You don't have any. You don't have any technical problem, no? Internet problem and all.
So the camera won't work, but the microphone is working.
Okay, okay, no problem. And also, suppose if you face any problem, then we'll identify. Dixit, madam. Can you identify one CSC student?
Yeah, Shivani Murde.
Yeah, roll number 7.
Yes, ma'am. Are you there, na?
Yes, ma'am.
If
Okay.
that faces any problem, then you supposed to ready at within a fraction of minute. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Check out your camera and mic. Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And dear student, please listen. जो भी इंटरव्यू दे रहा है वो अपना कैमरा ऑन रखेगा. प्लीज वेयर अ प्रॉपर ड्रेस विथ आई कार्ड. हाँ? Okay, sir.
Okay.
Raj faces any problem, Shivani will be there.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay, madam.
मित्र गोत्री सर. नाही नाही, फक्त आठवण करावं म्हटलं कामात असेल तर. येस येस, नो प्रॉब्लेम. या 5 वाजता आलं तरी चालेल, नो प्रॉब्लेम.
Yes, sir. Okay, yes. Yes, sir. Vaishnavi will join at 5:30, sir. First, 5:30. We'll start with Anand, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Hello, this is Anand here.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
Anant,
Okay.
welcome. Anant,
Hi, sir. How are you?
fine, very fine, and very glad to see you after a long time. I hope you
Same here.
remember me. So what
Of
subject I
course.
taught? Do you remember?
Of, of course, of course. Who will forget the thermodynamics and entropy and everything to do with thermodynamics?
Okay, okay. That is the only thing which I know till today. Okay.
No, no. You know many more things. We know that very well.
No, no.
It is
But
a
it was
pleasure
nice.
to see you.
Yeah, yeah. Very nice. I'm also very happy. Yeah. We'll start within 2 minutes, sharp at 5 p.m.
Sure, 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 sure. I have been trying to be punctual student, which probably I was not during my college days.
Yeah. Before that, I will like to share a few things. Uh, this year means from 2021 pass out batch, uh, our 51 students are already placed via InfTQ in Infosys.
Wow, wow,
Then
excellent.
some students have entered through Hack with Info also. The exact
Okay,
number I don't have right now. And
great,
now
great.
presently 69 students are shortlisted for interview through campus
Wow,
recruitment, Infosys campus. So that is
wow.
why we are very eager that out of the 69 we want to convert many more, almost maybe 90% or 100%. That is our target. So
Sure, sure.
yeah, so your
Very good.
guidance will help our students in lot manner.
I'm sure there are more able people and professors like you who have already guided them well. I will only have a friendly talk with them.
Okay.
Uh, if that helps them do better, nothing like it.
Yeah, yeah. मित्र गोत्री सर आहेत का तुम्ही जॉईन झाले होते मित्र गोत्री सर
आहे आहे
हा वेलकम म्हणलं चालेल चालेल
आम्ही
बरं तुम्ही काय बोला की सर 2 मिनिटं
आज
introduction करतो
दमलेले टक्के कारण काय आहे, ते मोठं आयुष्याचं मिशन होतं आज पूर्ण
हा.
झालं बरोबर आहे नाही आता
Right, right.
12% कसं डबलं की मेकॅनिकलला झेंडा हे केला
हो.
तर असा मुलगा आता व्हीएम मेडिकलला करणार नक्की पावला पोल टाकून
Yes.
आम्हाला खात्री आहे
सर मुलगा नाही मुलगी आहे
मुलगी आहे करणार
मुलगी
नाही.
हा
म्हणजे
Even better, na?
एक गोष्ट
या.
की आम्हाला आधी प्रॉडक्ट म्हणलं होतं आम्हाला 10% म्हणजे तिकडचा रँकर मुलगा म्हणून माहिती होतं पण 97ची बॅच म्हणजे रँकरचीच बॅच होती खेळाडू चांगले होते नितीन बारस्कर अंकुर कपूर इकडे माडके डिप्लोमा करून आला होता हे 12% होते इकडे प्रोडक्शनला झहीर अब्बास होता त्यांचा दोस्त
Oh,
हो
बरोबर आहे ना
जाहीर मला वाटतं आता तिकडे कुठेतरी फॉरेनला
Ethiopia, Ethiopia.
इथोपियाला
आला होता भारतात आला होता
हो
श्रीलंका स्वतः घाट पडली नाही फक्त एवढंच झालं
ओके
आणि जाहीर नेहमी 12%चा सांगायचा आम्हाला 12%ला शिकवायला काउंटर पार्ट होते जेवढं सर होते
Oh,
Okay, so I think now we will start. Mitragutri sir, shall I start? Okay, so now it is right time to start our. So initially, myself, Dr. S.N. Kulkarni, Training Placement Officer, WIT, will like to I have immense pleasure to welcome our proud WIT alumna, Mr. Anant Bartakki, who has passed out from WIT in 1997 from mechanical branch. As just now Mitra Gutri sir, he was university ranker And for your information, his wife is also WIT alumni. And Mr. Anand has supported WIT students not multiple times for placement activities. It is not first time. And this time actually he was very busy in his daughter's medical admission. And his daughter got admission in VM Medical College. Let me congratulate on behalf of WIT.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
it was really a hard time for him actually. He was very busy. But somehow Mitra Gotri sir is always there supporting for all our placement activities for institute. Though I am representing institute, but actually Mitra Gotri sir is always there behind all of us. So after completing his graduation, he has completed his MBA from Coventry University, London, UK. And now he is having almost 24 years of experience, out of which 21 years are is with Infosys, for your information. So we have very right person today to guide you people. So initially he started his career, I think, from Larsen and Toubro. He joined in July 1997, and then he entered into the Infosys, and he started as a software engineer. Then he was program analyst, then senior project manager, senior project manager, group project manager, and presently he is handling responsibility of delivery manager, and he is also member of executive council for Pune Development Center. He has many skills, out of which one is the global delivering software project management metrics and many more things. Of course, his introduction he will be very lengthy, but I warmly welcome Mr. Anant and request him to start his session. And I request all of you that keep your notebook pen with you and note down the important points. So, Anant, after your session, one more alumni, WIT alumni is going to join, Miss Vaishnavi Madur. She is joining little late at 5:30. So you may continue, and after your session, she will join and tell. And at the end, we would like to take two mock interviews, one from mechanical, one from CS oblique IT. So that is our today's planning. So
Sure.
over to you, Anand. Yeah. Okay, over to you, Anand. Thank you.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Sukhani sir. Thank you so much, Mudragati sir. And my one request is, I'm still the same Anand for all of you professors, so you don't have to call me Mister at all. I'm the same Anand that was your student once upon a time. Whatever I am today is just because of all the guidance that you professors have given me. So I will still remain your student always. Thank you so much for that nice introduction. I know I had given only 2-3 lines of introduction, but in the era of social media, everything is out there in the open. So that was, you kind of reminded me of what I have done in my 24 years of career. So thank you so much for that. Uh, Without wasting more time, I will straight away jump on to the session. Before I begin with that, the couple of things that I would like to mention all of you. Uh, Number one, feel free to turn on your videos in the today's world. Having a chat, I'm sure you understand being uh, through the number of interviews and potentially going through another interview very soon, how important the body language is in the communication. It is not only the verbal communication that matters, it is the body language also that equally, if not more, matters during the interview. So my request would be at your comfort level, please feel free to turn on your videos. I'll be happy to see all of you. That is one. Two, while I know sir has talked about my experience, but remember I am a student like you of WIT. So treat me like your friend. No question is a silly question. Do ask any question that you have. Anytime you want to stop, obstruct me, please feel free to do so. We are students of WIT, so we have to be curious. However silly it may sound to the rest of the world, but that's okay. No question is silly unless it is not asked. So, free to ask questions. The way I will structure my session is keeping it very simple. The uh, it is not a session which is going to be theoretical. I will give some practical experiences from my experience interviewing people as well as giving interviews. Unfortunately or fortunately, in my life, I have given only two interviews for job. First was for L&T, that was during the campus. I got selected there. Second was for, sorry, I have to take it back. I gave three interviews. Second was for some other company which I failed, and the third one was for Infosys where I got selected. So I am least experienced among you probably right now in terms of giving interviews, but I'll still share my experiences giving interview also. Uh, so this has been done on the eve of or just before the your interview for Infosys. I am, and while I am employee of Infosys, I'm not going to give you any tips to crack Infosys interview. This is not a session to give you tips to crack a specific Infosys interview. It is a generic session for you to know how to face an interview. Uh, so if at all you think that since there is someone coming from Infosys, I will know uh, what are the questions I may be asked in Infosys interview. That is not the case. I will give you a generic view of how an interview should be faced. All right. With that brief, if there are questions that you have or any expectation that you have from me, or you want me to cover any specific thing, please feel free to tell me now, or I will get on with what I have to share with you. I hope everyone is able to hear me loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear.
Thank you so much. All right, and feel free to grab your cup of tea. I'm having mine, so in today's world, it's totally fine to grab a bite of snack, have a cup of tea. It's absolutely fine. So the first thing, interview is a process of selecting a capable candidate for a potential job in a corporate, or for that matter anywhere. It could be corporate, it could be public entity, it could be private entity, whichever way. The very big myth many times people have is uh, it is an employer who is giving a job to the employee, and by way of doing the so there is a favor that is being made. There is one thing I want to make it very clear that uh, giving a job opportunity or an employment is not a favor. Employee gets a job for which he gets paid salary in lieu of the work that he does for the employer. So both the parties, the employer as well as employee, both have their own interest in the job. It is not a one-way thing. The reason I want to make it clear upfront is I have seen this especially uh, uh, for the lack of better words in the areas like Solapur, Sangli, Satara. Uh, People feel that the employee is doing a favor by giving the job. That's not the case. The reason I said these areas, the situation is slightly different in the likes of Mumbai and Pune. There, uh, the people seeking a job can see eye to eye to them, the interviewer, the employer. They don't feel shy about asking questions about salary, asking questions about what is the job nature and all of that, because they don't think the employer is doing a favor. The reason I'm giving you this insight is because that sets the tone for your interview. You should go there as an equal partner in the process of interviewing and job selection for the job. The reason it is important to go in that with that mindset is because your confidence, your approach towards answering the questions will change drastically when you get into an interview as an equal partner rather than someone who is being getting favored from someone else. That is one thing I would request all of you to make sure that you understand it's not a favor that anyone is giving you. There is a benefit for both of them. There are certain skills the company looks for, and since they find those skills with you, they're ready to pay the compensation in lieu of those skills because the company is going to make money out of the skills that you have. That's point number one. Point number two is, and I would rather make these two points upfront. I talked about the whole positioning yourself in the interview. You are not being pivot. It is an equal partner. You are an equal partner in the interview process. Point number two is whatever the question may be, whatever the interview process may be, the thing I would keep it common, regardless of whether it is for Infosys, for a manufacturing company, for anything, for that matter, it could be any interview, whether it is for an engineer, for a doctor, for a lawyer, or whichever thing in mind. It's interview is a process of that will last for 15 minutes to maximum 30 minutes. Your interview will last for anything between 15 to 30 minutes. When I take the interviews, typically we have been given the time frame that it is 15 to 30 minutes within which you need to judge the person. Remember, it is practically impossible to know everything about a person within that time frame. I'm sure you would understand that. You know the people around you, how much time it takes to understand someone thoroughly. So there are certain things that uh, an interviewer would look for when they are interviewing you. Uh, it is not possible to judge the in-depth knowledge on any topic within that time span. What an interviewer will look for is, do you have a structured thinking process, whether how you approach a particular problem. If you have been put in a situation that I think in the real-time job you will face that situation, how you will react to it. And remember, you are entering into the corporate world now. You are joining as a fresher. You are not, don't have a previous experience. So the expectations from you will be way too different than when we interview someone lateral. When I say lateral, someone with a previous experience. So the first, I said two things. The first thing I already talked about. Second thing is about keep it simple, be honest. The reason I say that is because in the entry level interview, most of the times I have seen people doing not too well only because they tried to be over smart. That is the one of the biggest reason why many times I have seen people getting rejected. Let's understand the reality of life. We know that you are you have done 4 years of engineering. You have done a project in that. Some of you are from mechanical. I'm assuming some of you are from computer science background. So you would have done some amount of programming both branches. Nowadays, even mechanical syllabus also has got good bit of programming. Unlike in our case, we had very little exposure to programming. By the way, I'm also mechanical engineer. So the key thing we understand that you would have done very basic things. We don't expect you to start doing machine learning and artificial intelligence, or you will do some jazzy coding on Python, and well, you would do, but we don't expect that you will be the star on the day one. Okay, we know that you will have to be groomed. You will have to remember, after this you will be put through 6 months of rigorous training, minimum 6 months of rigorous training, if not more. Uh, and I can assure you that what you will do in that 6 months, nothing against the current syllabus and the education system, but that is the reality that you will face in your jobs. And in those 6 months, probably you will learn what probably you have learned in 4 or more years in your life. So uh, when interview asks a question, be honest in answering those. If you don't know an answer to a question, it is absolutely fine to say, no, sir, I don't know the answer to this question, or I have not worked on something like this. It is absolutely fine. Don't feel that if I am not able to answer a question, it's end of the world. It is not an end of the world at all. In fact, I'll be surprised that if someone is able to answer a question, yeah, there are some star people who can answer all the questions. That's okay. But we can make out. Remember, the people who are going to interview you are coming with a minimum 15 years, or at places even 20, 24 years of experience. And we have seen at least 2,000, 3,000 people like you, at least I'm saying, if not more than that. And we know in the way you answer the question how much of reality it could be and how much of made up thing it could be. So I would suggest, in fact, I would really strongly recommend that be honest, be very, very simple. When I say simple, sometimes people tend to use jargons, a lot of jargons that are in the play right now. whether it is machine learning, whether it is AI, ML, automation, Blue Prism, whatnot. I have been into interviews where the student talked about things which I know even in today's world, in the real world, very few people work on it. And when I probed a little bit, I realized it was just a superficial gap that someone gave me. Remember, that sends a very wrong message and a negative message to the interviewer. The reason that happens is because if you answered, if I ask you 10 questions and you answered you tried answering all of them, pretended to answer all of the 10, and I know that out of those 10, I know for sure that 3 or 4 you made up those questions, you didn't have depth of understanding of those subjects or those questions, you still try to make up something. What that does is, while I have caught you on those 4 occasions out of 10 where I know that this is fake, I have started doubting on the remaining 6 also that you potentially had answered genuinely and correctly. But I start doubting those also. So my request will be, don't put doubt in the interviewer's mind by answering in a fake way. Answer in a simple, honest way. So I think enough about the simplicity, honesty. Uh, the other thing I will say is, the project you have done is the closest that you get to in the real life what you're going to do. Have a good understanding of what you are in the project. When I say what you have done in the project, it should be the actual work that you have done in the project, not a generic gyan. One thing that you definitely need to avoid is generic statements, generic gyan on what you have done. Be specific about it is what was your part in your project. That's what will tell me if I put you in a situation, how will you perform in that situation. Generic statements like all of us, it was a teamwork, all of us did a great job, all of us worked together to build this XYZ, uh, that doesn't do anything to me because I have come to interview you, I have not come to interview your team. So I need to know if I employ you, whether I'll get worth of my money back or not. As simple as that. And remember, there are no free lunches in the business. When I am selecting someone, the way we are trained to interview is, assume the person that you're interviewing is the person that you're going to get in your project to get the work done from. What that means is, then my responsibility increases that if I'm selecting you, I should be comfortable taking you to work in my project, because if you don't do a good job of in my project, it will be me who will suffer, and that's why I have to be careful when I'm interviewing you. That's how we have been trained. So the person who is going to interview will make sure that he gets worth of his money back. And I say worth of his money back for the salary that the company will pay you. Let's be very clear about it. There is no charity, there are no free lunches in the business. The there are a number of questions. Okay, I will take a pause here. If there are any questions, I can take those. Otherwise, I will keep going. All right. I assume there are no questions. So there are few things I would, um, in terms of the kind of questions you can expect. When I say kind of question, I'm not going to give the exact questions. I will tell you the what types of. There are certain categories of questions. This is the interviewing technique. There is a very well defined interviewing technique. We are all being trained on that, and many of it we learn while we do number of interviews when we face situations in our projects. So I'll give you a few examples of those. Uh, the there are most of the times the interview, I'm sure you might have gone through this earlier I'm sure nowadays colleges also have the basic interviewing skills workshop done, and it's not different than what you will hear from me. The open questions are where the answer is not going to be yes or no. It is going to be an elaborate answer. Some examples of open question is, and these are typically begin with who, what, which, when, why, all the WH questions. That how did you do this project? Answer to this cannot be yes or no. You'll have to explain it properly in detail as to what was your role in the project that you did. So there you have to explain as to what have you done in the project, in an elaborate manner. Then there are probing questions. Probing questions are typically the follow-up questions. So if you have answered a question when I ask you uh, what was your role in the project, and you say that okay, I have worked on designing the gear assembly. Uh, the probing question could be what type of gear it was and how did you go about designing it. So that's a probing question. I just want to make sure that while you answered my question that your role was to design a gear, but I need to know whether anyone can answer that question. But how do I know whether what you said is a reality or you are just giving an idealistic answer? So that's why I will follow it up with a probing question. So when I ask you what type of gear it was and how did you go about designing it, the response to that will tell me whether the answer to the previous question was an authentic one or it was not. So these are the probing questions. Remember,
it's a we have seen more often than not that people try to be idealistic, try to give the idealistic answers, and we all understand that you are eager to get a job, you're eager to join all the big companies like Infosys, TCS, and likes of the world. Uh, but remember, we all live in the real world. Don't live in the ideal world. So avoid giving idealistic answers. Give the realistic, what you have done yourself kind of answers, because the moment you start giving idealistic question, we get to know that this is it has been more you're trying to please the interviewer rather than showing your capability, and the chances that I will mark you as someone who probably has not done things himself or herself but has a very superficial knowledge about the questions about the topics on which I ask the questions. The third thing is, we talked about open questions, we talked about the probing questions. The third thing is the comparative question. So it could be, what would you say was the biggest difference between your internship in X company and a Y company, assuming that you did it in two companies. I'm just giving an example. Or what is the difference between, say, when you designed the gear in method one, and if you do it by method two, what would have been the difference? So these are the comparative questions. This is just to make sure that you understand the depth of knowledge that you have. It is okay to go wrong on those. It is not your failed interview if you have not answered that question properly, but please don't try to give an answer which you have not done yourself. If you have not done that design yourself, say no upfront. The there are these are the broad three categories of the questions that you will face. There are many subcategories of the questions in these open questions, probing questions, and comparative questions categories. The one of the key questions that you will be asked is around the behavioral. How the remember the while we want to hire the people with certain skills. When I say skills, it's technology skills. But over the time, it is proven that the technology skill, it is something which, yes, they are the must. We need to have the people with adequate technical skills. However, what really matters is behavioral skills. There is nothing I can have someone with just okay technical skills, but excellent behavioral skills. But I'm not okay to get someone who does very good job of technical skills but has poor behavioral skills. And the reason for that is because if you are just okay in your technical skills, I can put you through a training, I can put you in a classroom and teach you those skills. It is very difficult to teach someone behavioral skills by putting them through a training, putting them through a classroom session, because attitude and behavior is something which is a basic hygiene anyone would expect. If you have good attitude, you can learn anything. Whereas if you have good skills, it's not necessary that you will acquire good behavioral attitude. So that's a very important thing that in any interviewer will see in an interview, that whether if we think that you probably don't have all the skills that we are looking for in terms of technical skills, but if we feel that you have that learnability, you have that right attitude, positive attitude, and open mind to learn, we may as well still take a chance to recruit you, because we know that the skills, remember, the technical skills are something which are, technology changes every day. I'm sure all of you by now know that technology is something which is a transient thing. Today there is a talk, we are talking about React JS, Angular JS, Java is gone thing now. Tomorrow there will be something else. There was 5 years back everyone was talking about Java. Today no one is talking about Java. It is about Angular JS, React JS, machine learning, AI, ML, cloud, all of that. Tomorrow there will be something else that will come. Tomorrow robotics will come, bots will come. In fact, they are already there. So we know that technology will change. So if we are looking for a particular skill today, and we think that you don't have all of those with you right now, we may still take you as long as we think that you have the right aptitude and attitude towards your work. We can as well teach you the technology. Acquiring a technology is a matter of 2 weeks. That's all. You will see it multiple times once you are into the job. There are many number of times that we have recruited someone thinking that we'll have Java requirement, and by the end of your 6 months training, we figured that there are actually less number of Java projects and there are .NET projects now. And we have put people through 2 weeks of .NET training, and we have put them on .NET project. The technical skills are easy to acquire. We are not too worried about those. What we are looking for is a right behavior and attitude towards job. That is one very important thing which I think many people miss out when they face an interview. Uh, the other thing that you will since you are joining as a fresher, you will not face questions on apart from what the project that you did in the last year, on your experiences working in different technologies. If you have done something in as part of your curriculum or your project, or just out of your interest, feel free to add that, but we don't expect that you would have done any real life projects as such. uh, Apart from this, the there are remember, when any interviewer starts interviewing someone, uh, I'm giving you the perspective from the other side. I sit on the other side of the chair, so many times the interviewee, which is you guys, think that the interviewer is there to, like it happens in Viva. I think Viva is what that is the closest it gets to an interview, right? Uh, and I'm sure that is not that is the perception we carry about Vivas, and probably that gets carried to the interviews also. That the examiner in Vivas and the interviewer sitting on the other side of the table has come to fail me in the Viva and in the interview. That's the biggest myth we carry. I carried that during my college days, uh, but now, having done so many interviews, I can tell you that the interviewer is there to select you, not fail you. The way the interview starts is, I start giving you 100 on 100 marks. When I start in my interview, I already given you 100 on 100 marks. Unless you do something drastically wrong, or try to do something in the process of trying to do something really good, you overdo things, you'll start losing the marks. This is applicable only for the entry level interviews. Remember, and at entry level, we would have very little expectations in terms of your technology skills. It is the aptitude and attitude is what we look for. And I know many people don't quote this. Apart from attitude and aptitude, the most important thing, which to me is the common sense. I know it is quite uncommon, but it is exactly what we look for when we interview people. Unfortunately, many times people fail on that parameter. Many times it has happened that we asked a very simple question, and the interview kept thinking that it was something really complex and gave some rocket science answers. I can give a couple of examples of it. So there was a time when the guy was not doing so well in the interview. So I like I said, right, I start my interview by giving you 100 on 100 marks. So I asked the first question. Obviously, the first question could be, talk about yourself. What is your name? To break the ice, right? These are the very simple questions, so that we make sure that you are comfortable in this interview. Most of the times, nothing can go wrong in these types of questions. It is talking about yourself. Some people try to do, or rather overdo things there, and in the process lose out. So when I asked you to talk about yourself, people give some jazzy answers. Apart from the college things, I did something outside curricular, extracurricular, all of that is fine. I work for an NGO. I made a difference in life of 3,000 people and all of that. It has happened in the past. And when I probed, since it was sounding interesting, it was very clear that it was not the guy himself. I think he was exposed to an NGO where that kind of work was happening, but it was not his own thing, and he got exposed. So the opening questions are something which I would really request you to keep the simplest answer to it. If the question asked to you is the what is your name and talk about yourself, please answer the question. In fact, that is interviewing is a very giving interview is a very simple process. Two things to you have to remember is hear the question properly, because many times people have some preconceived notions in their mind. The interviewer is asked one question and they answer something else. Now I can say it on this call. I know my gurus and teachers are there around. Sorry about that, but it is not our the way we answer our theory questions, right? I know all of us have done that. I also done that. If the question is about 6 months and I have no clue about that question, I'll still write something for 2 pages with the hope that I will at least get 3 marks somehow, since I have written for 2 pages. That doesn't work in the interviews, right? So if you have heard the question properly and if you know the answer the question. So the point number one is hear the question properly, and point number two is answer the question. People make mistakes on both the counts. They don't hear the question properly, or they have a preconceived answer in their mind. So whatever question comes, they want to answer that only. That doesn't work. If you think that you have not heard the question, it is okay to say pardon, sorry, can you say it again? Or if you don't, it was not an issue with the hearing, it was about understanding the terminologies used. You can simply say that, okay, I didn't understand what you mean by that. It is absolutely fine, but be clear about what is asked. That is number one. Number two, I said answer the question. So this is the biggest mistake I have seen people doing. People have understood the question, heard the question properly, but they end up answering something else or more than what was asked for. Remember, I have very little time. In a day I interview anything between 25 to 50 people. My HR would be happy if I am able to do 50 in a day, because remember, getting the interviews also is not easy. If I have to come for the interview, I have a day job to handle in my office. Apart from that, I have to do this. Remember, the interviewer, most of the companies, I think, interviewers don't get any additional incentives or something to interview you. It is out of their interest, their obligation towards the organization. They come over and take the interview. So you have to respect his time, and the way you'll respect his time is by answering the questions to the point. That's why I say that when the question, hear the question properly and answer the question. If you don't know the answer to the question, say I don't know, so that at least the interviewer knows that this is not the area where you want to be interviewed. He will change the question. But if you spend a lot of time trying to justify to give justice to the question that was asked, you will waste time. In the process, you'll annoy the interviewer. So it is okay to say no, I am not aware of this, so that you give enough time to the interviewer to interview on some different skills, different questions. It's still fine. I told you, right? I start the interview by giving 100 marks to you, and if at all you do any adventurous thing during the interview, that's where you'll start losing the marks. Otherwise, I'll still keeping you at 100. Even if you do okay in the interview, I will still keep you at 100. Remember, and this is not about me, it is about any interviewer, that we are there to select you. So if you find that you are not been able to answer the question, we are ready with a couple of more questions. We want to see that, okay, if I tried questioning you on this particular aspect, you couldn't answer, we'll help you. We'll try, and at times I asked, in fact, you tell us what is that you are comfortable with. right? So sometimes we start asking questions on, say, what have you done in your project, and someone says, okay, I have done this is I did this in Java. So I may ask a question, okay, what is polymorphism, what is multi-threading? uh, Remember, this question stemmed from the fact that you quoted Java. So since you quoted Java, I asked the question, what is multi-threading, what is polymorphism, that is related to Java. So you define your next question. The answer to your previous question actually would have the roots. That's where the roots of the next question will lie. But if you're not able to answer that, I would say, okay, fine. Then tell me what else you have done on which I can ask the question. So the interviewer will be that friendly. Most of the interviewers will be that friendly. Even if they sometimes you may find some interviews are not being friendly. Remember, it is every person is not the same. But at the end of it, the intent is to select you. Somewhere down the line, he wants to select you. He doesn't want to reject you. He will give you enough chances to prove yourself. If you are not able to answer questions on one particular aspect, they will change the question. They will ask you the other aspects of the your skills. We are, I think, 30 minutes into this. If there are any questions, I can take those. I will, uh, or I will continue with my rest of the things that I have. Remember, you can get most out of this session if you ask questions. If you don't ask questions, I will talk about whatever I know and I'll just move on. So your loss. Okay, sorry. I think the questions are coming on the window. So let me. Sorry, I have not used Google earlier. I've been using WebEx and Teams. How do I check the questions that have?
Anil, please say attend, sir.
Yes,
Chat box.
yeah.
Sorry.
Anand sir, the question from the student is, as we are currently in the initial stage of our project, what are the important things should be explained about the project?
Okay. Important things to be explained about the project. Okay. See, I would say that the you talk about what you have done in the project. Okay. Don't when I say what you have done. So to give an example, say the project involved multiple things, right? So let's take an example. I'm coming from a mechanical background, so I will give an example of probably my project. So we had built the epicyclic gear train. My job was to design the core gear. Someone did the machining, someone did the designing for the case, someone did the design of the shaft. So I would say my part in the project was to define the gear. This is the methodology I have used. This is how I chose the material. This was the basis for my decisions, and this was the result. So you give the whole process of why you did something. Okay, remember, I'm putting all of this in the frame of what I have done. Okay, that is the most important thing. That your answer should start. The project was this epicyclic gear train. In that, my part was to design the the gear. I followed this method to come up with the design of the gear. This was the process I adopted to select the material of the gear. What was my rationale behind doing that? How I went about getting the gear manufactured. How did I deploy the gear? How did it run, and what was the end result of it? So I have given the end-to-end view. Since it's an open question that what did you do in your project, I have taken the liberty to explain in a very brief manner my whole process of what I have done in it. I have shown the depth because I have given them the rationale of my decisions that I have taken, and what was the result because of the decisions I have taken. Because see, I can always give generic thing. We have done use some jazzy methods, and I can give all the nice answers with some jazzy terminologies used. But then if it didn't give the expected result, what's the point? So results are extremely important. So when I explain something, I will definitely conclude it with the result. And it is absolutely fine to say that the result was a failure. I have selected people who have said I did this project, at the end of it didn't work, and this was for this reason. The reason I would select that guy over someone who has quoted everything worked, and when I asked few probing question, he struggled with it. The reason being, he has been honest, and I know that since he has said that and he was able to explain me properly, I know he's speaking the truth and he has done it himself. Vis-a-vis the other guy who tried to be idealistic, where he has inserted doubt in my mind that after I asked the simple questions, probing questions, he couldn't answer those satisfactorily. Then even if it meant it was successful, I would have doubt about how much of the contribution this guy had in the project. Okay, so to keep the answer simple, I will take a minute or not more than 2 minutes time to explain. If the question is an open question, tell me about your project. It will be simple. My role in the project, my decisions that I have taken for my part, and the result of it. As simple as that. I hope that answers your question. Any other question that I missed? I was trying to just check if there are any other questions on the window.
Yes, students, suppose if you have any questions, you try to unmute and ask the questions.
Okay. If there are no more questions, I will move on to the next part of the discussion. So I think I talked enough about trying to be genuine, trying to be honest, trying to be simple. Most of the times, you will see that you will be put in a situation. Expect that you may be given a situation that if this happens, what you would do. The reason we do that is because, remember, in 15 to 30 minutes of time, if I had to judge your capability, asking just the idealistic answers, or rather the simple technical questions. Since, like I said, for Java, I would say explain polymorphism. I'm sure out of 50 people I asked who have done Java, 40 will be able to answer that some way or other. Some may be able to answer in a very nice way. Some may be able to answer at least in some shape and form. They will be able to answer it. That probably will not give me the true worth of your capability. What I would rather judge you on the basis of is, I will give you a situation. Say, I'm just giving an example, and I've done this in some of my interviews. Let's say, for example, you are working in a project. Say it's your final year project. You are say designing a fuzzy logic. It needs a device to be purchased, and there is some amount of coding that you need to do in whatever language of your choice. And you have divided the work in it's say you're three of you are doing the project, so the work is divided in a way that you have say there are say 6 modules of the project, and then you have been asked to, sorry, I lost my video somehow. I hope I'm audible, right? I'm there.
Yes, sir, audible, but video is off.
Yeah, am I back?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think I touched something. Okay, so yeah, I was saying that if you are doing one part in your project and you are explaining about the part that you have coded in it, right? So I will make it a point that you I was taking example. Sorry, I lost my trail of thoughts because of this mishap with my video. Say you have coded one module of your project, right? So the plan was there are 6 modules, 3 people in the project. So obviously each of you are doing 2 modules. And say a week or 2 weeks before your submission, one of the guy for whatever reasons is not able to do his module. All of you have done, both 2 of you have done your own 2 modules each, almost there. And the third guy has done his one module, but he's struggling with the second module. What would you do? This could be my probing. This could be my situation that I will give you. Now there are a number of answers to this. There is no right or wrong answer. The reason, in fact, I would not even ask what would you do. I would, many times I have asked the question, give me a situation that you face in a project which you think is challenging. This is as simple a question as I have put many times to the people. That tell me a situation that you faced which you think is was the most challenging situation while executing the project in your final year. This is a classic question. The reason being, this will give me out of see every when an interview is interviewing you, he definitely has a evaluation sheet with him. There are certain parameters on which he will keep marking you. That okay, on this parameter you score this, and there are some 7 to 10 parameters on which we have to evaluate you. It's not possible to have ask even one question to evaluate you on each of these parameters. So what I would do is rather I'll give you in a situation, or I'll put you in a situation, or I will ask you the situation that you have been in, and I'll let you explain, by way of which I probably will be able to judge you on out of those 10 parameters. Easily I can judge you on 5 to 6 easily. In fact, at times I could evaluate you on all the 10 parameters also. So as I said, the simple question is, tell me any challenging situation that you faced in your project and how you dealt with it. If you give a realistic answer to it, I'm sure you'll score very well, because that tests your technical knowledge, that tests your teamwork, that tests your behavioral capability also. It also tells me, this is one aspect where people try to be very idealistic. For example, someone says no, then it is I will be a teamwork matters, so I will go ahead and help him. To that, my counter question will be, remember, it is 2 days before the submission. You are also behind in your module. The other guy is struggling with his module also. What will you do? Are you going to leave your module and work on his module? What are you going to do? Then people start coming to the reality. The intent is to ask what you have done in reality. When I ask the questions, I will never ask what you would do. I will always ask what have you done in the project when you face the situation like this and how you resolved it. That way, that will tell me that you have been through some tough situation, you have faced it, you were able to take some actions. It is okay. It is no matter what, whether the action taken by you is it is the best action, it is the best possible thing to be done, and the result was always a success. Remember, I think that's one thing which many of us get stuck into, that the action has to be the best possible action, the result has to be success. It is not. It is not. Believe me, it is not. What really matters to me is you had a structured way of approaching the problem, you understood the situation, you analyzed the situation properly, and your actions were realistic. You took the decision on taking those actions, you own those decisions, and the results at the end of it, it could be a success or it could be a failure. If it is a failure, you need to know why you failed. If as long as you know why you failed, it is as good as success. So no need to be idealistic and keep saying that okay, we took this was the situation, this is the action I took, and that's how we succeeded. That's it's a happy scenario. If that is the case, that is the case. But if it was not, it's okay to say that I took the decision, it went wrong, we failed. That is fine, as long as you are able to articulate how you understood the situation, how you made a decision, and what you learned from that failure. I think that's a long answer to the short question that you had. Any other question I'm missing on the?
No, sir, no other questions.
Okay, then I will come to the last part of my what I had to talk about. I just referring to my notes. I just made 5 minutes of my notes before coming to this session. Okay, so talking about the situation, right? It is situation, task, actions, and results. This is the mantra of, I would say, if you take care of this 4 things, you can crack any interview. Doesn't matter, no matter technology, no matter which company, which technology, which branch, or any of that. If you have analyzed the situation, you could identify the tasks, you could take the decisions, you could associate the actions with those decisions, and you got the results. That's how it matters. There are certain things. I will come to some of the common mistakes people make, which we easily catch them. And many times the interviewer goes very happily, interviewee goes very happily, thinking that I did a very good job in interview. I answered all the questions very nicely, but in reality, when the results come, they find that they did not get selected, and the reason could be the answers could be either vague. When I say vague, I hope you understand. They were opinions, they were theoretical, future oriented statements. I repeat, vague statements. Example of vague statements are the general statements. It could be like, it sounds very nice, okay, but it doesn't provide any specific on what you have done. So it will, for years it may sound music, but in reality, it didn't impress me because they were vague. So it could be like, yeah, we did a lot of hard work in our project, and all of us worked together as a team. I did 2 modules, each of us did 2 modules, and at the end of it, project was a great success. It has zero value for me because it didn't give any specifics to me at all. Remember, I said that earlier. If I'm able to close your interview in 15 minutes, many times this is a very wrong notion many students carry, that my interview lasted for half an hour. So I think it went very well, or they were impressed. Very likely that it took half an hour is a problem. It is. I'm not saying all the time, anytime your interview went for half an hour is a bad thing. But I will be concerned if the interview lasted for 30 minutes. That could be because I had to change the course of the interview because you were going off track at places. So I had to bring you back on the track. And in the process, I wasted my time. Okay, that is out of 10 times your interview has gone for a long time. I would say, and a long time, definition of long time, don't stick to 30 minutes. It could be 45 minutes. Would be. Every interview is different. At the end of the day, remember, interviewer like me are human beings. We have our own emotions. We have so the way I would react to anything is not necessarily the same as someone else will react to. So there will be interview to interview, you will find differences. That's absolutely normal. The point I'm trying to make is when you are answering the questions, please understand the state of mind of the interviewer also. And this is extremely important. I know this sounds trivial, and I don't think any of the I have been doing. By the way, I also do professional coaching for the interviewers. But I don't think any of the available material, any of the available training courses talk about this aspect. You need to keep in mind one thing: the state of the mind in which the interviewer is. It could be any. Like, you may be frustrated, you may be having your own worries, you may be having your own issues. The interviewer, in all probability, may have all of them. Remember, he might have traveled last night. He might have caught a train which was full. He couldn't get proper sleep in the night. He has a project to attend next day. After taking your interview, he has to go back to the work. He has a day job to do. And there is a problem in his project that he needs to resolve. And then you come and are not answering his question properly, giving vague statements. Remember, what he will be. He will be only frustrated. So vague statements are a strict no-no. Opinions. Again, another of this thing. I have seen many people doing this. Opinions are their personal beliefs, judgments, views. These are not the things that we are looking for, because they tell us how a candidate thinks or feels about something. But like vague statements, they have no specific information, and that's why they have no value in my evaluation. Remember, my job, see, like you are hard pressed or you are anxious to get the job. I'm anxious to finish the interview because I have so many interviews to be done in the day. So I am conscious about my time, that when I have asked a question, I had certain parameters I wanted you to evaluate on. So I saw my evaluation sheet. Okay, I have covered these 3 aspects. I need to cover these 2 of them. And that's with that specific intent, I asked you a question. But you answered me something different totally. I would have been happy that you had said, no, sir, I don't know about this. I would have asked you a different question. But if you wasted my time of 5 minutes in trying to answer a question which you don't know an answer for, you will only irritate me. Okay. So opinions also are, I would call the vague statements, opinions as a poison. Strict no. Theoretical, the last thing, theoretical and future oriented statements. They tell us what a candidate would do, would like, would have done. These things don't matter because I can always say that if this happens, I will be nice, I would do a great job. I can always say that, but what is the guarantee, right? So if I give, that's why I never give a futuristic situation in my interviews, and I'm sure you will see that many interviews will not ask you for any futuristic situation where please talk about what you would do in this particular situation. I will always ask what you have done in the situation that you faced in real life. So the would-be theoretical, future-oriented statements, they have zero value in the evaluation. So I think I'm already on the top of the hour. I'll take a pause here. If there are questions, I can take those. If there is anything that you want me to cover, please feel free. Otherwise, I think I have covered whatever I had.
Anand, thanks, sir. We will take questions shortly. I welcome Miss Vaishnavi Madur, Senior System Engineer. Vaishnavi, myself, Dr. S.N. Kulkarni. Just I will open my video. Training Placement Officer. Right now, I have taken charge of TNP Officer. So I request Anil sir to introduce Vaishnavi, and we'll continue this session, and then we will have question answer session, or we will switch over to mock interview. Anil, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello, Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi is one of the WIT alumni. She graduated from Information Technology Department, and she is currently working as a senior system engineer at Infosys Pune. Vaishnavi has 2 years of experience in software testing domain, and she also worked on different software testing tools, testing strategy, and also expertise in Java, Python, quality assurance. She also has worked with the DTCC projects, HSBC projects, and NYSE DMV projects. Vaishnavi, I welcome you for this session, and also thank you for accepting this invitation in very short time. Vaishnavi, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir, you're audible.
Yes.
Hi everyone, good evening. First of all, congratulations for completing the aptitude test. Here the thing is half done and you have to travel the half journey, which is very critical, where you will be judged, you will be monitored for each and every step you will be facing. So don't never be in a hurry to answer anything, never be in a haste. Can I, Nike sir, can you present that PPT?
Yes. Uh, uh, so, Vaishnavi, can you can you just click on that present now?
Yeah,
Present at the right side.
just a minute.
Yeah. So you can share a screen.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it visible?
Uh, no, it's the PPT is not visible. Have you opened your PPT?
Yeah, it's open.
So while selecting, you just choose entire screen.
Yeah, I have done that, sir.
Okay. I think it's not visible to me. Yes,
Let me try.
Kulkarni
No,
sir?
Anil, it was visible actually earlier.
Okay.
Then
Now,
again it was left. You click on now what is to be presented after selecting entire screen. Yeah.
Vaishnavi, you can one more.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible clearly.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
thank you.
visible.
Yeah, like facing interview is half of the part, and it is very critical part. First and the foremost thing we should understand that you're representing your college to the interviewer. So don't be in a hurry. Don't do any such thing which will spoil the image of your college, because it's very what we can say, very important to keep up that, because you are in a frustration, you are in your first time facing the interview. The same thing goes with the interview as well. They too have the workload, they too are there to select you, not to reject you. Don't be in any of the prejudgmented thoughts. So your assets will be, let me start with the things. Okay, whenever you will be giving now due to this pandemic, as we will be having online interviews. Before it used to be face to face, so the things will be common, some of the things will be common, like your assets, confidence. You should be confident enough while you speak. Don't tell anything creamy. Tell what is the truth, because the interviewer also goes through the same process. They are very expertise, and they very well know how to catch you and where to catch you. And your voice should be audible, your words should be specific enough. If you don't know any meaning of the word, don't use that. For example, in English, the context, the meaning of the word depends on the context. So before you spell that word, you know the context, know the meaning of that. Because your soft skills are obviously important, because technical skills will be represented by your certificates, and your soft skills will represent you, how you are, and how you will be representing the organization in future. And calmness should be there. As the interview start questioning, you don't start shivering, don't start crying. They too are human beings like you. They are just to interview you. They will not be punishing you anytime. In your attitude, you should be confident enough to represent the organization and your college, because there are efforts from many people behind that. Like, you will be taking your efforts, your college will be taking your efforts, your 4 years of efforts will be the time of the interview which you will be portraying there. And you should be keen enough when the interviewer speaks. If the interviewer is starting questioning, don't be in a haste and start anything. If you want to ask them anything, let them complete, and then you ask them permission to ask a question. Obviously they will respect you as you do. Like, I have seen many times that what we do is, when interview happens, we ask our friends how was their interview. Okay, so they will tell us this is a situation based, they will tell us the questions what they were asked, and we try to fix the questions in the same priority. Don't be that narrow minded, because it will obviously fail you. Because the sometimes the interview will start asking you what is your name, what is your qualification, what is your project. And sometimes the interviewer may ask you introduce yourself. This question is different, but the answer will be same. In the first type, you are asked questions one by one, so your answer will be one by one. And in introduce yourself, there you need to structure your thoughts well and answer in a flow. You should not mismatch things. You need to structure your thoughts well before you speak. If you are confused or if you are in a hurry, please take few seconds to structure and then speak. Assume that is your last chance to answer this interview. Obviously, you will do well, and answer positively. Whenever if you don't know anything, it's obvious. You should tell them, "I don't know this thing. Can I please skip this question over?" So if you're answering everything in negative, for example, if the interviewer asks if someone is from mechanical or civil background, if they ask what the interviewer may not know, or they may try to test you how much knowledge you have, or how much you are keen of in learning new things. So obviously they will ask you, are you trained in Java? Are you trained in Python? These are all software languages. Obviously a mechanical guy or girl will not know this. So instead of answering every question no, 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 you can tell them frankly, sir, I am from mechanical background. I have much knowledge of mechanical. So I will learn these things as and when needed. Okay. So speak frankly. Don't tell anything which you don't know. Don't hike anything before them. And your resume should have all the words which you know. Each and every word of the resume is the is like highlighter. There you can be questioned anywhere. Remember that. The interviewer asks you the questions only from your resumes, because resume, whatever you write and all, they are not knowing you. So obviously, what you keep in front of them, that will be the point of questions. And have patience till they speak, till they say something. Don't try to overflood the interview. And if you have any questions, obviously they will give you a chance at last. At last, they will ask you for, if you have any questions. Obviously, say yes most of the time, because that shows your keen interest to be there into that organization. Everyone is for job, that is for sure. But you should have some uh, something that will make you unique apart from everyone. Yeah, and one more point I need to add is, whenever you are giving an interview, obviously you should make an eye contact. It's obvious, but don't stare at them, please. This is observed a lot of times, that in the haste of, in the hurry of making eye contact, we stare at them. The interviewer is a human being, obviously. If you stare at them, they will feel that either you're not interested or you're angry at them. I always keep smiling and answering. If you don't know, be frank, say I don't know. Don't waste their time and your time as well. Never get into negatives. Always be positive and be self confident. Even if if you feel like it is somewhat, the question is tricky and all, you take time, ask them time, they will give you time and answer that. And remember, the interview is the last point, we can say. Those 5 to 10 minutes define your goals. So never take it as a negatively. Take everything as a learning opportunity. Infosys itself says everything is a learning opportunity, and Infosys has a wide learning platform as well. In IT industry, if you want to survive, rescaling is very important. You should be keen to learn new things. You should never stick to one thing. If so, for example, someone is expertise in Java, you should never say that I will stick only to Java. You should be eager to learn new things as well, because IT industry is changing a lot. First there was Java, now it is Python. Now again the evolution is going on, machine learning, AI, and all. You should show your interest towards that as well, and never be in a misunderstanding that civil mechanical guys will not be considered as CSCIT. Even though Infosys is a software company, they are every branch, every candidate is treated equally. And when you will be in Infosys, you will get a world India wide exposure, because there will be people all over India. Obviously you'll have a good platform there. Just you have to be patient, answer properly, don't be in a haste. And if you have any simple doubt before your interview, contact your teachers, contact your professors and seniors. Don't go with any don't go with any blind answers, please. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Yes, thank you, Vaishnavi. Yes, guys, if you have any questions, you try to unmute and ask the questions. Anand sir, can you add few more points, or shall we start one mock interview?
I think I covered
Yes, sir.
whatever I had. I would rather, if there are any things that people have, students have, or
Okay.
if you want us to do quick mock, that's
Yes.
also is fine.
Okay. Uh, Kulkarni sir. Kulkarni sir. Kulkarni sir, are you there? Okay.
Anil, I am there.
Yes, yes.
If session is over, if student have any questions, otherwise you may go for vote of thanks.
Okay.
Uh,
So, uh, thank you, Anand sir and Vaishnavi for sharing your spending your valuable time and sharing some guidance for the students' interview preparation. As this is a fourth session that we are conducted for our students for Infosys, TCS, and for other company preparation. And so all this contribution from the our WIT alumni. Uh, guys, I request if you have any questions, so you can just unmute and you can ask, as they are sharing, they are spending their valuable time with us. So take the benefit of this. And also in the coming future, you people also appearing for TCS interview also. Uh, so if you don't have any questions, so I take the permission from our faculty, students, and our resource person, so we can end the session.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vaishnavi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank. Okay.
All the very best.
Thank you. Okay.
Anil, you may thank all faculty coordinators, Mitra
Yeah.
Gotri sir, and
Yes.
student also,
Yes.
and conclude. It was very wonderful session.
Wonderful session. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all department coordinators, Mitra Gotri sir. So, with all the permission, we will end the session. Thank you. Thank you, students.